Alright, so today we're going to do a presentation about cannabis prohibition and the reason why we should end it. Under federal law, it is illegal to consume or own or possess any form of the cannabis plant. A few states in the union, so 4 states, Colorado and Washington, and just recently Alaska and Washington D.C. and Oregon have legalized recreational use as well. Historically, as well as in modern times, prohibition has been ineffective, expensive, and an unnecessary burden on citizens and all people that are in the community. Legal regulation of marijuana would put money back in the government's pocket and the taxpayers' pocket and relieve the burden on our legal and prison systems. According to Jeffrey Marion, who is a lecturer at Harvard, he completed a study about drug legalization in 2010. Approximately, and this number can vary depending on who you talk to, about $6.2 billion would be made if marijuana was legally taxed and regulated by the government. Although this number might seem a little insignificant considering the budget of the U.S. government, compared to other government spending costs such as schools and social welfare programs, it is actually quite substantial. It just seems very wasteful that we are not gaining this tax revenue. Over $40 billion a year is spent on the war on drugs. Couple that with the tax savings that you could gain by regulating the market, and the monetary gains are tremendous. So the main people that are suffering from prohibition, as far as a monetary standpoint, are the citizens. The $40 billion budget spent in local and state and federal governments to prohibit or to enforce drug prohibition in cannabis comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. So imagine $40 billion less out of taxes. That's a pretty big jump. The other part of the presentation that I want to go over is ending the incarceration and arrest and the drain on our legal and judiciary system. It's estimated that over 750,000 people have been arrested for possession of cannabis this year alone. That's year to date. Those are staggering numbers when compared to the amount of people in the U.S. Those sentenced to jail are, again, draining money out of the taxpayer's pocket. This is a graph that kind of illustrates how much, since the war on drug that Nixon launched, this is from the Bureau of Justice and Statistics, you can see the extraordinary amount of arrests and imprisonments that have happened since the war on drugs launched. So if you can see, this is 1968 right here. We had on average about 200,000 people in our legal system. In 2010, which is when this study came out, 1.6 million. That is an 800% increase of people that are in our judiciary system since the war on drugs has started. And again, most of that is due just to possession. That's not violent criminals, that's not arrests or arson or any violent crime. That is really just possession of a controlled substance. The other thing that is interesting in the incarceration or arrest is the business of being imprisoned. There are many industries that are benefiting from imprisoning Americans. It's become big business. Lobbyists are in Washington all the time arguing for more prison space, more government contracts. The blueprint of legalization that Colorado has set since year to date, 2013, that precedent has been set that even though cannabis has become legal, violent crime has gone down, crimes in general have gone down. Fewer violent crimes have been committed in Colorado since prohibition has ended there than in the last 10 years. So in conclusion, cannabis prohibition has been an utter failure. It has not done what it's intended to do, and it's wasted billions of dollars, and the market's still going stronger than ever for cannabis. So I argue that we should legalize and regulate and tax marijuana and cannabis so that everyone can gain.